Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is going to be a bit of a different kind of video where usually I do time lapses without any voices. This time I'm going to try to narrate some of the things that are going on in a sort of Durnil style video. Hope you guys enjoy. So we're back in Kaiserreich. We know what happens in Kaiserreich. I mean, Germany wins World War I and the Western European countries have become syndicalist. We just wait to see what happens. So of course, Black Monday, the German economy collapses and the Kaiserreich is in trouble. Meanwhile in France, it seems they've elected the Sorelians, which makes them totalist. I wonder if Britain will follow suit. And of course, China pops, with the left KMT and the Anqing clique declaring their independence from Nanjing. It appears that the Beijing government is protecting Anqing. We'll have to keep an eye on who wins this. So right now, we're trying to predict who wins the Second Weltkrieg. Right now, it's all up in the air. Usually the French and Russians have a great chance. Now that Nanjing is out, it's Mingan, Anqing, and Shandong. And it looks like here that the Mingan insurgency and Shandong are beating Anqing pretty well. Very calamitous, I guess. And now, revolution in Indochina. So Southeast Asia is having quite the rough time. We've got elections in Russia. We have Ivan Solovyov taking power. He's a social conservative. And in the Ottoman Empire, Ataturk has restored control. And who won here? It looks like the parliamentarians have won. Yeah, we got a war brewing in the Balkans. Serbia, Romania, and Greece want their revenge on Bulgaria, who won. There's an electoral deadlock in the United States. If you guys know Kaiserreich, there's obviously going to be a civil war. The Schwarzweiß-Rot government has been declared in Germany. That's the conservatives. And now civil war in Spain. Yeah, I think Feng Tian's influence in Southeast China is dwindling at this point. Now there's a civil war in Xinjiang. The Yunnanese forces have stormed Guizhou. And the monarchists are back in Nepal. And it looks like Bulgaria and Albania are teaming up against Belgrade. Oh, this is huge. It looks like Guangzhou has formed a federalist government down here in the south, and all of their allies in Yunnan and Hunan have also won out in their power struggles. Now we've got a really strong federalist bloc down here in the south. As for the Mingan insurgency, it looks like they're struggling a lot against Shandong. We don't know how long they'll last, but this is not looking very good for Mingan. Belgrade is under siege right now by the Albanian-Bulgarian alliance, while Sofia is being attacked by Romania. This is a Kaiserreich classic. The civil war has erupted with the normal four sides. We got Huey Long, John Reed, MacArthur, and Quinton Roosevelt. I wonder if Canada will intervene. Finally, the Mingan insurgency has won. Although it's a little bit too late now. They're now forced to start their focus streak a bit late. The Maklik is being attacked by Mongolia and Tibet, and the civil war in America has just erupted. At this point, I don't know who's gonna win out, but my hopes right now are up with the Constitutional Coalition. That is unless Canada supports anyone. Okay, the Workers' Congress of America seems to be blitzing up to New England, and they've almost secured Maine. Not looking very hot for MacArthur's government. That's the war in the southern cone. We've got Patagonia going after Argentina. This time we've got Pedro Pablo Ramirez and fighting against Chile. And another iconic civil war in Kaiserreich is the Indian Civil War. We've got the syndicalist INC against the Dominion and the Deccan Federation, the princely states. Serbia has just fallen to Bulgaria. A new front has opened up in Argentina. And another front has opened up in Paraguay, so that's Argentina fighting Paraguay and Patagonia, Paraguay fighting Argentina and Peru, Bolivia. Maklik seems to have just defeated Mongolia in the war, and now it's only Tibet left. Hungary has just fallen to the Austrian Empire. It seems the American Constitutional Coalition is driving out MacArthur's troops. And Paraguay has just been defeated by Argentina and Peru, Bolivia. Yeah, it's not looking very good for Tibet either. An Ikhwan revolt in the Sultanate of Najd. The Albanians are pushing really hard into Greece right now, while the Bulgarians have already captured Bucharest. Another iconic civil war in Kaiserreich, it's the Italian Civil War. Mussolini is fighting against the two Sicilies and their social democratic government. The Xinjiang clique have won out in the East Turkestan Civil War. This is the war in Central Asia. Russia is gonna come in soon to help Bukhara. That's the Reichspakt Pact versus the Moscow Accord. I don't think the Kazakhs stand a chance in this war, but we'll see. I don't think the CNT5 is going to live off of this war. And it looks like the Reactionary Alliance is putting pressure on the Workers' Congress of America. It's now January 1938. We can see the lines of the Second Weltkrieg are already being set. We've got Bulgaria over here standing their ground. We've got most of the German Empire staying loyal to the Kaiserreich. The International, meanwhile, has not really gained any new allies. If we check the ideology map mode, we've got America, we've got India, we've got Liberia, we've got Chile. That's not really enough to turn the tide. Meanwhile, we've got Solovyovic's Russia. Rome has just fallen to Mussolini. Maybe the International can last in Europe. Oh no, it looks like the Italian Republic is intervening. Patagonia seems to be doing pretty well in Argentina here. Well, to be fair, they are having volunteers from all over the International. Meanwhile, Argentina only gets German volunteers. Huey Long is encircling some of the Federalists' divisions over here in San Antonio and South Texas. Although I do wonder, when is Canada gonna intervene? They've set their sights with the American Constitutional Coalition, it seems. Oh, and Rome has been taken back by the two Sicilians. And as expected, Kazakhstan did not survive. Neither is Romania. Norway just joined the Entente. I think this is the Entente's first Western European alliance, if we're not counting Portugal. And Shaanxi has pledged their loyalty to Beijing. And it looks like the Spanish Civil War is turning to the favor of the Carlists. That's the end of the Belgrade Pact. And the Italian Republic has fallen to Mussolini. Meanwhile, the Kingdom of Spain is on their last legs. Oh, they've actually capitulated. And would you look at that? Delhi has fallen. Haiti has declared war on the Dominican Republic. That's the Northern Expedition. The Qing government has declared war on Nanjing. My bets are on the Qing government, if I'm being honest. They have 40 divisions, plus 27 and 20 from their puppets. Meanwhile, Nanjing only has 37. But if Zhang Zuolin intervenes in the war, then we might see Zhili defeated. Okay, that's a first push from Nanjing, followed by a push. Oh, by Nanjing. Zhili's pushing. There's an ambassador's crisis going on between the German Empire and the Union of Britain. Mussolini has unified Italy, except for Sardinia, of course. Greece is still going through a civil war. We have the International aiding the Hellenic Socialist Republic, while the North is being helped by all the reactionary forces of Europe, including Russia, is trying to spread its wings and invade Central America. A market liberal Central America, that is. Meanwhile, in America, it does not appear like the three reactionary forces side with one another. Nope, that's MacArthur gone. The Syndicalists have captured Washington, D.C., and now it's just two more governments left. Three. The CNT have already lost Barcelona, and now they're left with Zaragoza. I don't think the CNT5 will survive. Alright, so it looks like Nanjing is saved by Feng Tian's intervention here. They're gonna quickly sweep down to take Beijing, and they're not gonna be happy about it. Now I do hope Guangzhou intervenes in this war very quickly, or else they'll be left without any gains. They can easily take Wuhan and Sichuan over here, especially if the Qing government capitulates. Argentina is out, and that's an international ally in South America. And Indonesia has declared independence from the Dutch East Indies. Beijing has fallen to Zhang Zuolin's army, but it doesn't seem like this helped Nanjing in any way. If anything, they're still on the back foot, and Beijing is still pushing really hard here. Liberia has just joined the Third International. Canada has intervened in the Second American Civil War, and they're siding with their allies here in the American Constitutional Coalition. So that means they're at war with both Chicago and Baton Rouge. The Levant crisis has turned into a full-blown war in the Middle East, with Egypt and Najd going after the Ottoman Empire. The the Egyptians really took Suez. But looks like Cyrenaica is staying loyal. Now there's a revolt in Syria, as well as Yemen. The year is 1939, and it's only one more year until the Second Weltkrieg starts. The Canadians are making advances here in the Workers' Congress, and Persia has intervened in this war in the desert. Indonesia did not stand a chance against the Dutch East Indies. And now the Armenians are intervening in the Desert War. Boston has already fallen to the British Army. Now Baratia has fallen to the Bombay Pact, and now Dominion of India and the Deccan Federation are poised to go to war with one another. And the Entente gained a new ally in Europe, in Spain. Austria-Hungary has turned into the United States of Greater Austria. Norway has invaded Florida. Great job for them. Let's see these Norwegians. There it is. We've got 2 divisions of Norwegian soldiers fighting against the Alabama National Guard. Looks like the 1st Infantry Division are being pushed. And they're out. India is back at civil war. It looks like there was no peace between Lahore and Hyderabad. Meanwhile, the Ottomans are actually holding out pretty well. They've already captured Cairo, and although they lost Baghdad, Damascus is still within their reach. Abu Dhabi is being used as an invasion for Riyadh, and everything else looks pretty fine. I think Mustafa Kemal is actually going to hold the empire together. And in another shocking turn of events, it looks like the Guangzhou Federalist government is going after the Qing government in Wuhan. So that's Nanjing, Beijing, and Guangzhou against Wuhan. I don't think Wu Peifu is going to survive this war, nor is his Zhili clique. But everybody here has to watch out on what Japan's next moves are, because they are watching. Nanjing is finally pushing the Zhili army out, and Chongqing will soon fall to the Federalists. What we don't know is whether Feng Tian will side with Japan or not. The American People's Government is desperately trying to gun it for Los Angeles, which I don't think they'll succeed. And despite being surrounded on all sides, the Workers' Congress is actually holding out pretty well, even if they just lost Michigan here. And Iceland has joined the International, which gives the International a significant port in the North Atlantic. Nanjing is sieging Wuhan right now. Chicago has just fallen to Canadian forces, although I don't think that's enough to cap the Workers' Congress. No, yeah, they're only 31% towards capitulating. And Wuhan has just fallen, with Feng Tian and Nanjing taking 8 and 6 states respectively. And now it's just Sichuan all by themselves. Despite losing their capital, Egypt is actually holding out pretty well. It's September 1939, and that's when World War II started in our timeline, but I don't think it's gonna start here. The Philippines has joined the co-prosperity sphere, another victory for Pan-Asianism, and the Federalists have annexed Sichuan for themselves. I guess this is Grand Columbia formed all over again. The American People's Government just threw it in the towel after they lost Florida, and they've got several divisions encircled here in New Mexico, Arizona, and southern Texas. The Cairo Pact has just lost to the Ottoman Empire. I guess now they just need to clean up Persia. Unless the Persians hold out, that is. Nanjing just went after the Guangzhou Federalist government. I don't think now is the time for infighting like this, guys. Japan is right on your doorsteps. Nanjing overestimated their own strength, and the Federalists are just washing them out. Huey Long has surrendered here. Now it's all just the Workers' Congress of America versus the Constitutional Coalition. Chicago and Detroit were taken back though, so I'll give it Sure Solonevik. Now is the time to talk about banking. What's France doing? Comrade Etienne's heritage, okay. And the British want to conquer the skies. Oh, and Mussolini has been ousted by Giuseppe Guletti. Alright, the tensions in Europe are now boiling over. Avricourt has just been shelled by the Germans, killing 26 people. This is the next Weltkrieg. The Chinese Federalists are encircling Wuhan now, which means they might fall to their control soon. It's over for India. Right now they just look like Pakistan here. Tehran has just fallen to the Ottoman Empire. And for whatever reason, I guess Finland wants attention because they just declared war on Sweden, who's neutral. That's a Finno-Swedish word. The Second World War has just begun, with Russia declaring war on all of Germany's Eastern European colonies. So Russia invades the Reichspakt. France's declaration of war will be coming on shortly. Russia's making pretty good gains here in Eastern Europe, capturing Kharkov, although they lost to some Polish tank divisions here. Are they going to lose Petrograd to the Polish tank division? And Argentina has just joined the Third International. Not 2 months into the war and Petrograd has already fallen to let's see what the news says. The Baltic Army. Well, we know it's the Polish army here. The Ottomans annexed Persia, which means, yep, the Desert War is almost over. Only Armenia remains here. Russia is making crazy gains here in Ukraine, while Russia seems to be jetting it for Riga over here, using their mountaineer divisions. Italy has joined the Third International, and France is going to declare war on Germany very soon. I don't think the left Kuomintang will last here. Oh no, Armenia! They finally capitulated. Well, I guess the Ottomans are gonna reshape the Middle East a second time in this century. France immediately goes after Spain before declaring war on Germany, and Brazil has joined the Reichspakt, which means there will be a South American front in the Second Weltkrieg. Liberia is surprisingly holding off pretty well for the Third International. The Russians have recaptured Petrograd, thankfully, but it looks like their offensive has stalled on the Vistula River. Nanjing has already fallen. I don't think the left KMT is surviving into the next day. Unless they hide out in Jinan here, which is a little bit embarrassing. Then again, their performance this entire game has not been very good. Japan is going after Germany now, before France does. No, wait, on the same day. Or not. But Austria is intervening. And the Second Sino-Japanese War has just erupted. Which means, is that what I think it is? The left Kuomintang survived! And okay, the first days of the Second Weltkrieg, right? Japan seizes the legations, France is reaching Madrid, and France is pushing very hard into Belgium. Georgia has capitulated to Russia. You know what, I think all of this has gone in favor of the Workers' Congress, who have just been given a second lifeline. The Halifax Conference has gone pretty well, which means the Reichspakt and Entente will cooperate with one another. And the Italian front is obviously a brutal slog over here. Germany has just thrusted France out of Nancy. And the Constitutional Coalition is now invading Mexico. Japan seems to have had an upper hand here in the legation cities, which they immediately conquered. And now that opens up a new front against the Chinese, who I just realized haven't made a new faction yet. The United Front is not a thing. And the princes have won in India. This is actually very curious. They didn't form the United Front. I guess because they're still at war with one another. But it's not a good look. And if the Chinese don't cooperate with one another soon, then I think they're all gonna get picked off by Fengtian and Japan. But I guess Japan's been focusing on their Chinese offensive, which shows how little they've done to invade Germany, except for the Mariana Islands, just like our timeline in the First World War. The Austrians have captured Venice for Sardinia, but Sardinia itself is being invaded by by Giuseppe Giletti. Sweden is beating Finland in this war, and Russia is pushing the Germans all out of Eastern Europe. The South American front looks like it's in favor of the Reichspakt here. It's August 1940, and there's still no united front here. What are they doing? Belarus, Lithuania, and the Baltics have capitulated to Russia, which means Russia is now at the doorsteps of actual German territory. East Prussia has already been conquered by the 167th Pechotnaya Division. In unrelated news, civil war in Arabia, and Ethiopia has obliterated the Somalis in the Ogaden War. Lithuania has capitulated to Russia, and the Workers' Congress have been pushing the Constitutional Coalition heavily in Nebraska. The war in Mexico too has not been going well for Quinton Roosevelt. Who's capitulating first? Germany or France? I think everybody's just waiting for Russia to steamroll. Poland has backstabbed the German Empire. This is not looking good for the Germans at all. That means a new Russian ally and a sudden exposure in the German front lines. Königsberg might fall by 1941. Nanjing has just capitulated. The British have landed in Copenhagen with a surprising naval invasion, and the French captured Madrid. Italy is holding on the Po River over here, and Yan Shishan is out. Here's a quick overview of the international situation. Without a naval invasion in Iceland, Liberia is still holding out pretty well. The Reichspakt Entente alliance is pushing deep into France. Moscow is stuck in Ukraine, and it seems like they failed their invasion of East Prussia. Italy is still holding on, while Spain will probably fall soon. This might be the international strategy. They want to cap Spain, kick the Entente out of Iberia. Not even a year into the war, and Paris has already fallen. Second time in this century to the Germans. But now Poland has declared war on the German Empire, and they've joined the Moscow Accord. Will Russia take advantage of this? I think they'll fail to. You know, the way I see it, I think the Germans are actually gonna win the war. Poland is not yet lost. The Russians did cross the International, also captured Sardinia away from the Entente. And Poland has just capped. Ottawa just got captured by this Workers' Congress. You know, it's still anybody's war. The way I see it, if the Workers' Congress actually defeats the Dominion of Canada soon enough, they might have time to join the International and aid them against Germany. But if they don't, if they're forced to fight a war all the way to like 42, then I think it's lost for the International. Plus, Russia seems to be pushed on all sides. Finland just got annexed by Sweden, and an invasion of Croatia by the Italians. Liberia is being pushed all the way back to Monrovia, while Somalia is actually winning out against Ethiopia somehow. Well, there's a heavy offensive from the Entente against the International in Iberia. Fengtian is marching into Ma territory, and it's D-Day! D-Day from the International. I think Chicago really turned things around here. I'm actually shocked. And the Reichspakt Entente alliance are pushing heavily into the International. And I don't think D-Day here is going to turn things around. Same here in the east, the Ukrainians are pushing very hard into Russia. They might even take Kharkov at this point. So I guess this is just a timer between who falls first. It's March 1941, and China has just capitulated to the Fengtian government and to Japan. Meanwhile here, the Entente and the International looks like Vichy borders. Denmark is trying to reclaim Iceland. Nope, but Denmark just capitulated. So what's this army doing? Liberia is making a comeback here in the south, in Africa. The British, after invading Denmark, they used Denmark as a jumping point for a naval invasion of Mecklenburg, and now they've landed in Mecklenburg. And if the Germans don't put enough divisions here from their front lines, they might actually lose Berlin by 1941. But I don't know. Capturing Berlin won't capitulate the Germans. They still have Austria, they got France, they got Ukraine here. So it might actually not turn anything around, but we'll have to keep an eye on this. Is that the update? I think that's the update. So the International have landed in Calais, and to their surprise, nobody is defending this. Although things aren't looking so hot for the Socialist Republic of Italy, because the Austrian tanks have rolled in. The French have just reunited their front lines. Nope, and it got split up again. The Kingdom of Spain have captured Madrid, and Kaiser Wilhelm II just died. This is very confusing to look at. That might save the 2nd Infantry. Sardinia has capitulated, which now encircles all these German troops. Meanwhile, Russia is not doing well. King Edward flees the Dominion of Canada. So 1941, August, the Americans finally capture the Canadians. Okay, Canada has capitulated. Now the Americans just need to finish off the American constitutionals in Seattle. Portugal fell, and the British have landed in Dalmatia. Denmark has reinforced their invasion of Iceland now. They've sent another division to take out the Icelandic revolutionaries. Okay, that frees up a whole lot of international divisions. Oh, and Nepal just declared war on me. Hold on, I need to change countries. The Reichspakt have been pushed out of Venice, and the American Civil War is over, with the Workers' Congress winning. I'm actually surprised with this. The Netherlands just capitulated. Poland is back on the map. Earl Browder named president. Okay, so we've got totalist. The Ottoman Empire, along with their occupied puppets, have just joined the Reichspakt. This is like the whole gang back together. We got Germany, we got Austria-Hungary, well, Greater Austria, Bulgaria, and now the Ottomans together. And it doesn't look like the Russians have troops here, which means the Germans actually have a chance. Here's how Germany can win. That's the liberation of Georgia, liberation of Azerbaijan, and the Ukrainian front's being pushed back. Although things don't look very good here in Poland, nor does it look good here in Asia. Okay, hold on, the Germans are actually cooking here. A few more steps from Tsaritsyn. Japan might have done an oopsies there. Yeah, they declared war on Hawaii, which is part of the Entente. Now they're at war with Australia and the Dutch East Indies, and Germany. Crazy German revival going on though. Ottoman troops are marching into Persia. The Caucasus have fully fallen to the German army, but the International really are pushing hard. They think they could do one more grand offensive to knock out Germany out of the war, to maybe dislodge their defensive position, especially in the Balkans here. This seems to be the soft underbelly of Europe, and that's a huge Reichspakt. From Berlin to Namibia, it's all one continuous blob. Poland has just fallen. Argentina has capped out. 1942 and the South American front might just end. But hold on. We got a new alliance here, the Socialist League of the Americas. If the Germans could keep up the pressure down here in the Donbass, march north, capture Moscow, naval invade Petrograd, they might actually push Solonovich out of the war here, leaving the International all by themselves. This might actually be a German victory, guys. Oh, very daring. Now the British are invading Pomerania. Pomeranian naval invasion has turned into a full-fledged front line here. Do they have ports? They have Rostock and Danzig. That might actually threaten the German position, which, mind you, the Germans have captured Königsberg, they've captured Smolensk, they're going to capture Tsaritsyn. Just to report back in China, the Fengtian government has not capitulated Xinjiang just yet. The Haitian-Dominican War has just ended with Haiti's victory, and they've joined the Entente. Although it does mean they're at war with America. The International are back on the back foot. Venice is now captured again by the Austrians. Liberia just capitulated. I mean, at least the French are pushing the Germans out of their territory. This is the real two-state solution. I don't know if I have any hopes for Russia. I mean, they've lost... No, they still hold Tsaritsyn, Moscow, and Petrograd, but they've basically thrown it in the Eastern Front. The Indians are invading Tibet, for whatever reason. And now they're invading Burma. Oh, that brings them to war with Japan. Alright, that's a huge turn of events in Asia. India goes to war with Japan. Oh yeah, no, I think the International just collapsed. Meanwhile, Moscow's only 2 tiles away. No, 2 tiles away from the Germans. Paris is being attacked. The Russians really blew it. The Russians and the French. Surprisingly though, Rome is holding on. Meanwhile, the Germans, Persian army, and their allies are running towards Petrograd. It looks like the Russians just straight up have no troops defending this, and now they've been encircled in the Baltics. 1943 is about to end. I don't see any major reversals in the war right now. It just seems to me that, the Germans are just gonna win. They lasted 3 years. It's not bad. Maybe they should have organized a little bit more before going to war with the world's most powerful country. This looks familiar. Is Browder trying to kidnap the president of Venezuela and Colombia? Moscow is close to being captured again. This looks eerily familiar. Moscow just fell. I didn't see the news event for that, but Moscow has fallen. Tsaritsyn still holding. Petrograd is still far from being captured. The USSA Continental Marines have landed. They just got routed here. Kapita. Is this D-Day? Is this D-Day, guys? Nope, it's only Dieppe Day. Let's set the scene. The once feared syndicalist ideology has mostly been reduced to rubble, except in the United States of America, who are trying to establish a new world socialist order. Meanwhile, in the old world, Britain here has turned itself into a pretty formidable fortress. I don't think anybody's cracking Fort Britain. Tsaritsyn just fell. And soon Petrograd too might fall. In the 15th of May 1944, the Russian Republic and President Solonevich signs an armistice with the German Empire. And there it is. Alright, let's check the scene. So Poland, as a traitor to the Reichspakt, have been carved up between Lithuania, Ukraine, Austria, and Germany, soon to be formed into a new government in Poland. Russia has completely lost parts of its western territories, including Smolensk, Kursk, Voronezh, Belgorod, and Rostov, not to mention all of Central Asia. Their government has fully resigned, replaced by Alexander Golitsyn. That frees up a whole lot of German divisions. Although the Japanese might actually peace out with the Germans. I don't know. At this point, I think Poland deserves this fate, and America seems to have won their war in Grand Columbia. Now all that's left is Peru-Bolivia. Out of all the conflicts to have erupted in this scenario, I think this is the one I do not want to be part of. Hold on, the goon squad has arrived. We've got Bulgaria, we've got Persia, we got the Dutch East Indies, we got Georgia, Morocco. This is like the United Nations intervention here. Same over here in the Philippines. Got Austria. No, it's just Austria. Alright, I guess they could restore German colonialism here in Southeast Asia. I wonder what the Germans are planning. Are they trying to invade Britain? The southern front is holding on, but the north just keeps failing. After so many years fighting this war, almost 5 years now, the Germans have finally launched probably their first invasion into England. A quick report on the Asian situation. It appears the Reichspakt have landed 3 separate invasions. The invasion of the Philippines is going well. In Guangdong, we've got an Austrian army landing here, while Indochina is not going so well. Supplies are a big issue over here. The Germans are now trying another attempt at conquering the British Isles, this time in lightly defended Ireland. And the German invasion of Guangdong here is definitely helping. The war in Ireland, it really looks like a tug of war now. With the British pushing, then they get pushed back, and then the Germans make crazy offensives here. The Ukrainians are assisting here in Thailand, and the Georgians over here in Indochina. But this is a team effort. The invasion of Ireland is turning into trenches in Northern Ireland. Ukraine and Austria have now captured Bangkok, the center of power in Siam, and captured Mindanao, although at the cost of southern Luzon here. It's November 13, 1945, and the Germans have finally won the Battle of Ireland. Meanwhile, in Asia, it looks like the Indians have finally captured all of Burma, at the cost of Tibet though. Is this the real northern expedition here? The Reichspakt invasion of South China? Anqing has fallen. Nanjing has fallen. This is actually turning out to be very promising from the Austrians. This is, if I want to compare it to a historical event, this is like the Boxer Rebellion international intervention, except it's completely German. No, yeah, it's wraps for the Japanese. Oh, and they capped. Feng Tian has capped to India. Although for whatever reason, I'm not getting any notifications. The Reichspakt has finally landed in mainland Japan. I think this is it. This is the final stage of the war. The Japanese don't seem like they want to negotiate a surrender. I mean, they are clinging on hard to Korea, and suddenly, boom, a large German invasion. It's January 1947. In another note, the French Republic have recaptured Corsica from the International. The Germans are well into their invasion of Japan, and suddenly, out of nowhere, the Americans declare war on Brazil. I mean, I get it. They want control over the whole Western Hemisphere, but now that puts them at war with the Reichspakt. Can they even do that? Who knows? Maybe it'll save Britain from inevitable doom. The Yanks have arrived in Norway, somehow invading Trondheim. To be fair, I guess they do have a military base somewhere. Maybe it's with Britain. Oh, but the British have lost a lot of divisions here. 48 remaining. Meanwhile, here in Asia, the Battle of Tokyo is underway. The Americans have landed in southern France now. America is launching an invasion of Cuba. The Americans have actually established quite a decent holding over Norway now. But the Germans are almost gonna cap Tokyo anyways. They only have 2 divisions left. Japan has capitulated. The peace deal is... Okay, so India gets most of China. Ukraine gets a little bit of peace. Austria gets some. Let's see how they'll split it up. Oh, federalist government. Okay. Oh, the Austrians have restored the Chinese Empire. So there it is, Indian hegemony over Asia. The New World might be for America just to take. International concessions have been reformed here in Germany, here in Shanghai, delegation city. Alright, so here's the state of the world as we end the time lapse. We can check the faction map mode. The Reichspakt have mostly dominated the world. I mean, they won the war in Europe except for Britain, and Britain still refuses to give up, so, Russia has been forced to kowtow to the Kaiser. Central Asia, the Middle East, Africa, it's all under the empire, the German Empire. In Asia, we actually have an Empire of China siding with the Germans and a legation city. The Japanese emperor has been forced to abdicate. Now he's led by a German puppet, Takamatsu Nobuhito. Oh, he's a prince, okay. Then we got the Republic of Korea here. Over in the Western Hemisphere, in Europe, we have some remnants of the Entente. Only France survived. In Northern Europe, in Norway specifically, the USSA has established a zone of control, and their navy kind of makes it impossible for Germany to do anything about that. Sweden and Finland have remained neutral, so they're scot-free. The Ottoman Empire is still chugging along, so is Austria. The USSA controls the Western Hemisphere, the Caribbean, but aside from that, yeah, that's the end of this world. If you want to check the ideology map mode, it's like this. We got conservatism ruling in Central Europe. We got the Western Hemisphere looking very red, and Asia is very gray. Alright, thank you for watching this first time-lapse review AI only video. Be sure to let me know if you guys are interested in more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.